How are your energy levels?
Pretty poor right now. Pretty
Really?
poor, yeah.
You're on a bit of a down, on a bit of a crash.
Yeah.
Well, what happened, man?
I've been sitting down all day and drank lots of coffee.
Yeah, not enough movement. We've been at a seminar. It's actually a Kevin Green seminar, day 2.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing information, really good.
Yeah.
Probably a bit too much sitting down if I was to be critical. But
we're in our 3rd break and it's like, what, 5:30?
Critical, that's the 4th C, isn't it?
4th C.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the 3 C's of how to optimise your energy levels. Criticism is one of them, not being so critical, in fact. when you want to, feel energised, it helps if you're not always looking for the negatives, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about what I think of as the 3 C's, really, as how to optimise your energy levels. Because we were talking earlier on about how, we were both fasting this morning.
Right.
Coincidentally, and we felt so sharp in the morning. I mean, it got to lunchtime and I still felt sharp as a knife. Whereas yesterday, I was very conscious that the first thing I did in the morning was I went into Cafe Nero's just over there. Actually, had a cappuccino, milky, strong, extra shot cappuccino.
Yeah.
And by the mid-morning break, I was flagging big time.
100%.
Day 1, and I thought this is not good. And I think a lot of people think that if they're really crashing all the time and feeling sleepy, they assume it's because they haven't got enough sleep.
Yeah.
And that's what I always used to think. I used to get quite stressed actually about if I couldn't sleep or I didn't get my 8 hours. I used to assume that I was going to, probably feel like that all day the next day, and it just wasn't true.
Didn't you do the challenge where you woke up at like 4:30?
Yeah, and that was really it. So through doing 21 early days, which is basically a challenge where you get up at 4:30 a.m. every day for 21 days, I really learned that tiredness, sleepiness, in fact, can be a fairly superficial feeling, much like hunger or thirst, and that you can kind of battle through it. But it makes it very difficult if you're scoring low on the caffeine and the carbohydrate scores, right? So I think that, generally speaking, if you think of your energy levels as governed to practical intent by these 3 things, I suppose, the 3 C's. You've got basically your carbohydrates or lack thereof, caffeine or lack thereof, and thirdly your capacity. And by capacity I mean your capacity to think, which relies on having enough sleep and not being distracted. So it's sort of capacity to focus. So if you consider that if you're doing okay in one of those and good in the other 2, you're probably going to feel all right.
I'd just say, you saying they all have equal weighting in terms of the amount of energy they could potentially provide?
I wouldn't say they had necessarily equal weighting. So that's why I didn't say sleep, because I think yes, sleep is important, but we all get, generally speaking, some sleep each night. It's not like we're all running on a sleep deprivation exercise.
So you're not a big one for this kind of whole 8 hours, or everyone requires a certain. Or is that a whole different? Are we opening a whole different can of worms?
I am a huge advocate of sleep, but I just think that most people do that in the context of eating a shitload of sugary carbohydrate, and drinking coffee every day
and sitting down all the time and not getting couldn't agree more.
And if you're doing those things, then frankly, like, you're probably going to feel pretty tired anyway, no matter how much sleep you've got. So the big takeaways for me were just how sharp I felt when I was actually fasting, as well as how sharp I felt when doing keto before as well.
Keto, because you suddenly switch from being glucose, I guess, energy dominant to fat burning energy dominant, I guess you could call it that way.
So anyway, those are my 3 checkpoints for feeling energized. Do you have any tips, Scott?
Well, I haven't got a tip, but I've got a recommendation. So sleep cycle, in terms of sleep, I've been using this. Have you ever used it, Sleep Cycle?
Is this a supplement?
It's an app. It's an app. It's called Sleep Cycle, and you plug it into your iPhone, and you put your iPhone kind of down when you sleep, and it gives you it basically monitors your sleep cycles, your like REM sleep, and it monitors the quality of your sleep, and it gives you a percentage every morning as to kind of how well you've slept that night, whether you've kind of, in relation to the previous nights, and it shows you literally your sleep cycles. So when you've come into kind of a more REM state and a deeper sleep, and then come back to more of a shallow kind of just slightly subconscious state. Really, really, really good app. I've been using this, and I've kind of got like a bit addicted to kind of seeing how well I've been sleeping every night and how I can kind of maximize my sleep kind of sleep hacking, I guess.
Sounds pretty damn useful. So how have you felt on it?
It hasn't made me. It's just made me monitor certain things. So, you know, say for example, you hear something like I have, like that taking a teaspoon of honey before bed can kind of, you know, better sleep. You can trial it, and instead of kind of, you know, just listening to pseudoscience, you can try it. You've got the sleep app there to tell you how well you've slept, so you can experiment with things just to see if it does slightly improve the. So if for example, you wanted to reduce your sleep, the longevity of your sleep, and you wanted to reduce maybe 8 hours to 6 hours, you could experiment using Sleep Cycle to see that you're still getting a good quality of sleep and just reducing the amount of time.
Interesting. Quality of sleep is definitely a biggie, because I recall when I was doing 21 early days, for example, getting up at 4:30 a.m. every day. That what time I went to bed had maybe some bearing on how I felt, but it was by no means a guarantee. You know, some days I go to bed at 9:30 and feel terrible, and some days I go to bed at 11:30 and feel amazing. So what's that about?
I know, and that is the thing, isn't it? It is very. It's not something which remains. Apparently, so I've read, looking at stuff this app shows, even kind of like moon cycles and other crazy things like come into impact when you're looking at sleep.
Really?
So it might not just be, you know, I think particularly kind of for women, I think, you know, the stage of the month, for etc., has a big impact on.
And we're probably, I say probably, we are just as hormonal in a sense. And no, in that it doesn't matter male, female, old, young. Your hormones are dictating how you feel on the surface much of the time.
All the time. So animalism, catabolism, like certain times of day, and that's why I think some people are slightly more kind of night people or night owls maybe, and so some are. I mean, I know for a fact that like I'm never going to be the most alert of people after a certain time, and like, but I am an early bird. So for me, getting up early and starting early is a good idea.
It's a good strategy.
It's
a good strategy. I can relate to that. Same here, man. Get all the best stuff done before 10 in the morning, and then
eat that
it's downhill from there.
100%.
There you go, guys. A few expert tips on how to manage your energy levels. This is good, man. I think
we're only just fitting us both in. I'm on by the way, I'm on tiptoes here, just to kind of.
And my calf muscles are killing it. So as are my arms. But,
we don't have a selfie stick today.
Yeah, we do. Oh, there we go. So, but I mean, you know, take something away from that. Hopefully, managing your energy levels is so key. You know, it took me to probably the age of sort of 26 to realise how much this can benefit you. You know, I would be drinking, you know, extra shot lattes at the age of 25 before a customer meeting, and wondering why I couldn't wait to leave, you know, 45 minutes in. So try it. If you're feeling sleepy, first thing I would do is cut down on caffeine. Second thing I'd do is cut down on carbohydrate.
100%.
Third thing I'd do is maybe try and sleep a bit more.
Carbs later on at night. So I would say, like, actually, because carbs they raise melatonin levels slightly. Oh, I also use blue blocking glasses. So I don't know whether you saw my glasses on my day one video. They kind of have an orange tint.
I did notice something, yeah.
So you get junk light. Like every light is basically blue light, particularly from computer screens and phones. And so you can either use another tip recommendation, F-Lux for computer screens.
Okay.
It basically makes the screen orange, like an infrared light.
Right. Yeah.
And blue blocking glasses like Swannies, I think they're called. For nighttime, again, sleep hacks do a really good job for energy, like the following day.
We're throwing tips at you here, but this is all really useful stuff. I mean, blue light on the iPhone, for example. There's now a night mode on the latest iPhones. This is a 7. Sorry, no, it's a 6 actually. So on the 6, it's got the night mode, and I think on other phones you might have to download an app for it. Well worth getting. F-Lux is excellent. Blue light at night time, which basically what the night mode does is it filters out the blue light, which is you can probably describe it in more scientific detail, but the blue light is well, basically keeps you awake. It makes your body think it's daytime.
There are spectrums of light. So you have obviously the visible light spectrum, and on one side is ultraviolet, on the other side is infrared. And actually, in the evening, we don't want to be exposed to too much of the UV stuff and the stuff which comes, the blue kind of light which comes from screens. So I'd suggest that's the science jargon.
Yeah, exactly. Some bonus tips.
Bonus.
Right, should we leave it there?
All right, mate.
All right,
let's
10
do
minutes. Nice one, Scott.
Yeah, we're
Thanks
done.
for that. All right, catch you later, guys.
See you guys.